ChatGPT just planned and booked my family's upcoming Disneyland trip. It made a restaurant reservation through OpenTable, it added all the events to my calendar, and it even created this slide deck that feels like a custom travel brochure. All of this happened through Agent Mode, a brand new ChatGPT feature that can act autonomously on its own remote computer to complete complex tasks across the internet. It's only available to Plus subscribers for now, so if you want access, it costs $20 a month. And it's not perfect yet, but the current product and potential honestly blew me away. I gave it a very detailed prompt of request and it worked for nearly an hour straight, achieving all of my detailed objectives. And don't worry, I won't make you watch the full hour of content, so I've stitched together key moments so you can watch the magic as if it's happening in real time. So let's dive in. So here we are in ChatGPT. To get the agent mode, you go to Tools, select Agent Mode, and then we'll pass in our prompt. As I said, this is a very long, detailed prompt. I asked for a lot of different things here, including told it the travel dates, the requirements for food, the Disney characters that my kids are really excited to see to make sure that we find when they're going to be there in the park. And so what we'll see here is that now ChatGPT just opened its own remote computer. And I love this transparency. Not only can you see what it's actually doing on this computer, but you can also see the little pop-ups there with its chain of thought. So it's saying, I'll select 3 memorable stops. It's reading all these different blogs and websites, which is exactly what I would do if I was planning myself, wanting to kind of, source ideas from a lot of different places. It's checking all these. See, there's Disney Dad, seems like a good source that I support. And as well as then I told it the age of my kids. So we can see here that it's having that very targeted research approach of making sure that our itinerary is targeted for our specific use cases. And my daughters are obsessed with Moana, so we have to make sure we figure out where she's going to be in the park and how to meet her. All right, and then this one's pretty cool because you'll see here that it's actually starting to open the websites and let us read through them. So I'll show a pro tip towards the end where you can actually take over the screen and take control of the computer. And if you want to sit here and watch it work, you can do that. And then you can kind of say, oh, I want to look into this further and read this blog that it found or read this website. All right, so in my prompt, I asked it to book at least one restaurant reservation just so we could test out that feature. And so we can see here that it's going to start looking at best 83 restaurants. Again, crazy to watch it work like this because this is exactly what I would do. Okay, and so it found a restaurant. It decided on this restaurant and bar. And on the side, I looked it up and they had a kids menu with mac and cheese. So it looks great for our family. You can see this is not me. It is the agent itself moving the mouse around, figuring out where to click. And so we can watch that all happen. I asked it to make a reservation at 6 p.m. So it's doing that here. You can see it has the 4 people, which is right. It already knows my email that I have attached to the account. So it's going to input that right here. All right, so you saw that it clicked complete reservation and you might think, okay, this is where I have to be involved as a human and go and actually look at this verification code. But since ChatGPT has access to my email, it automatically was able to read through my email, find that confirmation code that was sent by OpenTable and input that here. And then OpenTable is saying, okay, we want to make sure no robot is booking this reservation. So it is going to ask us to manually input our information. And so this is what I mentioned earlier in the video where you can come in and take over the screen. So we just saw there that I'm taking over ChatGPT browser. And so no longer is it the AI controlling the screen, but in this same window in ChatGPT, I'm able to come in and put in my information. And I'm not ready for the internet to see my phone number yet, so we will skip over that. Just a few other things to highlight. Again, these are little snippets from over an hour or nearly an hour of it working autonomously. But for this PowerPoint deck that I asked it to create, it's generating images as part of that to make it a more visual output. And here we are. So let's see what it came up with. We can click through. It has a trip overview. Those dates look right. Okay, that's all the information I gave it. Okay, in the first page of content, road trip agenda. This content looks great. That Thunder Junction Park it recommended in St. George. My family's actually been there and my kids love it, so I'm glad that it found that and recommended it. On the next slide, you can see here that it didn't render very well. It's kind of messy, and so I'll show you my favorite thing to do with AI in these situations is say, you know what, this is not good enough. So what we're going to do is we're going to take a screenshot, come down and interrupt the ChatGPT agent flow. So that's another kind of pro tip is at any point you can stop. You don't even have to say stop. You just, the chat box is always there and you can start typing and you'll be able to interrupt the flow of what the agent's doing and kind of guide it in the right direction. So here we're going to say, content's looking great, but some of the slides are a little messy looking. Here's a screenshot to show you how it looks to me. Can you please fix this? So after that feedback, it's going to think for a bit, write some code, and then update it. And now that looks much better. All right, that wraps up the recorded demo, so let's review the output. You can see here that it worked for a total of 47 minutes. You can actually go back and watch any part of it again. So if you want to remember kind of some of the sources it used or watch it in real time, that recording's there. And so the output is it created our slide deck, it added all the Google Calendar events, and it created our itineraries, the age-appropriate itineraries for my kids. And so let's start by just clicking through the slide deck. We already looked at these two slides earlier in the demo. Yeah, something I noticed is it's pretty cool that it includes all the links here as well. I don't know if I would just blindly trust all of this without reviewing anything for important information. But you can go and check any of the information on the websites. And that's what I think is really valuable about this is it just does a lot of that pre-work of figuring out where to even source the data from. So I think especially on, which one was it? The characters and events. Like it found all these websites that said, check this for the day of to see where the characters are going to be. So now I can just pull up this PDF, I can click through into that link and have that on hand. You will notice again that the rendering of these slides is not great, which if I cared more, if this was for like a client or something, I would definitely iterate a lot more. And you see how in the demo we did iterate just with one prompt, it had improved it quite a bit. But interesting to me that the first output is, a little messy, but that's okay. This is just going to get better over time. That's an overview there. Same feedback for the itineraries, which some pretty cool ideas. I like the content here. This is the 3-year-old one. And so we can print this out, have her kind of, tell her what to look for through the day. But this could be a lot more visually compelling. And I'm sure if I gave it a more targeted prompt that, it would be a lot better. But this is just one small task in a host of tasks that I asked it to do. So it probably took kind of a lazy approach, which, again, I'm fine with. And then similarly, I gave some good content for my 5-year-old. And then like I said, my favorite part is that it added all these events to my family Google Calendar. So I can share this with my wife. We can see that it added the detailed information within it. And so just kind of put these blocks so it's not going to be super rigid, which is what I asked it to do, but just kind of said, asked it to give me recommendations of which rides we should try to target in these different blocks of time. And you can see that originally when it was planning all the events, it added this restaurant here. And then when it actually booked the restaurant reservation through OpenTable, it created this separate calendar event. So that's how we know. And I also got the confirmation email that reservation was booked. That all worked beautifully. So again, overall, I think main takeaway is pretty impressed, and it's going to save me a lot of time in just doing kind of that first leg of research. Still think there could be some improvements in the PowerPoint and slide deck design, but very interested to keep using this and seeing how it improves over time.